right, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the regular season of the Stratford Warriors Report. I'm your host, Les Favors. We've got a good group of guys coming in tonight. We got 3 other guys coming on the show. We're going to get right to it right away. But first of all, I just want to mention to everybody, we've got some upcoming games this weekend. There we go. The Hamilton Kilty Bees come to town Friday, October 3rd at 7:30 at the William Allman Memorial Arena. And then on Saturday, we're going to make the long drive down the QEW into Fort Erie to play the Meteors, and I got a guest from Fort Erie joining us tonight. I had some people chime in and text. We had our preview show, and they said, well, there was nobody there from the East. Well, I don't know a lot of people from the East. I don't really watch a lot of the East, so I got somebody here tonight that can talk about the East. First of all, I want to introduce Chris Jessel. Welcome to the show, Chris.
How are you, Les? Good to be here.
I'm good. Chris is a St. Mary's Lincoln's supporter, but he also watches a lot of the Go OHL.
No more J.
I don't know what they're calling it now. You just want to keep putting that J in. We'll talk about that in a minute. And joining us also is going to be Rhett Chessel, his son, 16-year-old. We call him the Lincoln super fan. Whenever at a Lincoln's game, he's the one on the horn, or sometimes he's up doing the camera. We'll try and get you off the air by 9:08 so you can watch those Dodgers.
Yeah,
as a Jays fan, I don't have to worry about that this series. So.
Well, we shouldn't be in wild card. It's pretty embarrassing.
All right, and our last guest joining us from the Fort Erie Meteors, Alec Murray. Alec, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
All right. Like I said, I had a lot of people say you did a preview show and nobody from the East. Well, it was kind of hard, but now I got a guy from the very East.
As east as you can get.
You are the voice of the Niagara Ice Dogs, as well as IBL Championship Cullen Fisher Jacks.
The Jackfish, yeah. So
that's it.
It's been a good little run here.
Yeah. All right, guys. First of all, welcome. Thanks for doing this. It's great. This new setup works out pretty good. Just one question. The Kaprizov signing today, is that ugly money or what? Anybody chime in on that one?
You go ahead, Alec.
I was just gonna say it's a low market. It's a small market. Those small market teams usually end up overpaying for superstars to retain them. So of course you want to play in the Californias, the Floridas, beautiful weather states, right? But at the end of the day, somebody comes to you and says, here's $138 million, here's $17 million a year with a massive signing bonus every July 1st. It's pretty hard to say no to that. Yeah. So I think with the market and the player, what he means to that team, you had to do it. They couldn't afford to lose him. But at what price? That's the price.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, well said. I think that's what the bottom line is. I don't know. They got to keep the market hot. They got to keep the fans interested, and it's going to be interesting to see what the rest of the league does now. Obviously,
yeah, it's going to be interesting. Rhett, what do you think the Oilers do now with McDavid?
Resign him. I don't care how much. Just resign him.
I just said to Chris on air before everybody got in. I said, "What do you give him? 136.50?"
I think you got to give him. He's going to be looking for 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets close to 2. Why not?
It's got to be. All right. It's got to be.
Yeah. Well, the GOHL is no more. We're into the GOHL. That partnership, I think it's a good thing. We'll have to wait and see what really comes of it. You're actually seeing some teams getting some kids back from the OHL. So what do you guys think of this partnership with the OHL, Chris?
I think it's great. I think it just justifies guys who follow this league for the last 5-6 years realize how good the league really is. And I think this just really puts that statement out there that this is the league to be in. We've had a lot of guys try other leagues. They go out west, they go out east. Most of them end up coming back, and I think once they get out there, they realize this is the best league. And I think this just goes to show everybody that the OHL respects our league. And if you want to get there, this is the stepping stone you got to take.
Yeah, Alec, how do you feel about it?
I know it's been in the works for quite some time now. They've been wanting this to happen. I find it a bit weird it happens 3 weeks into the season. But that being said, I think it's a very, it's a credible, credibility to the GOHL now, right? You have the OHL, the Ontario Hockey League, part of the CHL, which is the best hockey, the best junior hockey you're going to find in Canada. So to have your league tied to that, it's a big bonus. It's also going to let those players. You're going to see a lot. I think you're going to see a lot more younger players start to play for these teams. These teams are going to get a lot younger. You're going to see, like you said, teams sending back and forth, which is a good thing for the fans and the team. I know you're kind of seeing it with Brantford right now. A lot of those Bulldogs guys who are very talented hockey players, look, Gavin Christie, for example, a kid who makes 20 other OHL teams, but of course, Brantford is going to be one of those top teams. He's not going to make that team this year. They signed him. He's going to play with Brantford this year, the Titans, and then he's going to be a stud in the OHL to come. So you're going to get to see guys like that. So I think that's a very big plus, right? And it's also going to help this league kind of gain traction to like, hey, come here. We want to develop you and we want to get you to that next level because we have the connections with so-and-so, so-and-so. You already saw a ton of players attend camps in the OHL, way more than we've seen in the past years from our league. So nothing but good things. The only weird thing is that it happened 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm like, well, we couldn't have got it at the beginning of the season or waited till the end, but it is what it is. We're here now, and I think it's all good.
Yeah, I think it's one of the worst kept secrets because the rumblings have been there for the last year or so. First of all, the Warriors we're 4 games into our season. We're still the lowest number of games played in the GOHL, but a 2-1-1 record, so it's not bad. We had a performer of the week in Luke Menard, who's just brought in by the club with 2 goals in back-to-back games, so he had 4 goals on the week. There's still 3 teams in the GOHL who are undefeated, as London upset Chatham there Sunday. I don't know if it was an upset or I watched some of the game and it was just a back and forth hockey game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think we watched a big chunk of that game. 2 really good teams, strong, physical, big. They kind of play the same style of hockey. And for anybody to go into Chatham and win on that ice surface is challenging. So that's definitely a good step for London. I think London is so far looking really good, and obviously Chatham's going to be there. They got a strong team all the way through, and they're bringing guys up and down from Saginaw as well, right? So they're not going to go away, but that's quite a battle.
Yeah. All right. You went down to Chatham to watch
Yeah,
St. Mary's.
I did. I went down to Chatham. It was a good game. Lost 5-2. It was a huge crowd last. There was about 1,400 people there.
They always draw well in Chatham. They always have.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. It felt like a playoff game again. Felt like it was back there in Game 6, and it was a good game. But Chatham, they're just so good. I think Chatham's going to go back to back, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they just received a player back from Saginaw this week. So
they got De Blasi, they got LaChance, Richter. I could go on and on and on about Chatham. So they look really good.
Well, considering what was happening,
to play in.
Yeah. Considering what was happening in the summer with Chatham, though, we were all thinking they were going to be decimated coming into this season. There was so much movement in Chatham, Alec.
There was a ton of ups and downs and going-ons, but I think Chatham's one of those teams where you look at it and they're like, okay, they're a big veteran team. Last season, I know it was, okay, right off the rip, I'm like, this Chatham team, if they get in, look out.
Yeah. Because
it's impossible to play in that barn. Their fans are crazy, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And the size they had, with the speed, they added younger kids who shouldn't be playing in our league at the end there to add that to their playoff roster. Yeah. So kids who are gonna probably go play D1 if they want, or play full OHL, 4 years in the OHL, right? They add. Good goaltending is gonna be the biggest thing in the league this year. I think they have pretty good goaltending in Chatham as well. So you add those things together, big defensive core. I mean, that kid they got from Saginaw, Caden Cinco, another right shot, 6'2" defenseman, 13th round pick of Saginaw. I mean, the rich get richer. That's what you say, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of the longest road trips, well, for us at least, one of the longest road trips. Like I said, you don't want to play there because those fans are crazy. It's impossible. It's hard.
Yeah, we talked Yeah, we talked about Chatham last year. The addition of Brandon Feasey last year to that team helped that team offensively. But around Christmas time, they made a few moves that were critical for that team. And then from Christmas on, they were pretty much unbeatable. When we played them, when we took them 7 games, when Stratford played them, took them 7 games, a bounce here or there, evenly matched teams. But it's that barn. I call it our house of horrors. Some people called me out for calling it a hostile environment, but
It
when
is.
you're in that barn and there's 15, almost 2,000 people in there, it's a hostile environment. But any other arena is the same thing. But that arena, that bowl is so tiny. There's nowhere to move. All right, St. Mary's, you guys are off to a decent start. Everybody's trying to compare things to last year, and I said, well, different teams this year. St. Mary's, I think you guys are in the right direction. I'm high on Von Barr. I've heard some people, kind of questioning him, but I think he will be your stud goaltender this year. What I saw the other night, he played well. Chris.
Yeah. I'm going to actually, Rat, you go first
Yep.
on the Lincolns, and then I'll fill in any of the holes that you might have missed.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're 100% right, Chris. Von Barr is going to be an outstanding player. In his first game, they only lost 2-1. First period wasn't great. We were down 1-0, and then LaSalle goalie, I think that name's Adam Bartel. He made 40 saves, which we could have easily won that game. And then last week on Saturday, we lost 3-2 in overtime. So none of those games were Von Barr's fault. He's played outstanding, and I think he's going to be fantastic throughout the season.
Yeah, well said.
Yep.
I do think this is it's Brogan Colhoun's team.
Yeah.
He's your veteran, a couple years in USHL, I believe, and then up in Essex as well. He has looked very, very good as well. Vaughn, a 16-year-old kid. I mean, he's going to be great. He might be more of a backup role this year. I think he might get his 10, 15 starts, but you never know. Injury problems or it doesn't go very well the other way. He could be the guy, but I think the team has to feel pretty secure about what's going on in the net there. I think he's a very ample backup if that's the situation they go. And he's going to be the goalie of the future, right? It might not be this year. It kind of reminds me of 3 years ago when Colby Booth-Houseco first came to town and we had Brandon Abbott. Colby was unreal. Every time he did play, he was unreal and he got everybody's attention. But it was Brandon's job, and he got the majority of the starts. But Colby was ready to go, and that second year of Colby, when he came in, he was at lights out, obviously. And then Nico Armelin came in, and then just two of them back and forth were just unstoppable. So,
Yeah.
It's a good situation to have. As far as the team goes, yeah, I mean, not a bad start. We're not tearing it apart either. But there's that you have to be realistic too, right? Lee and Spags are gone. I mean, Those are 2 holes that you will not fill. And we're super fortunate to get Weir back and Hodgkinson back. It's kind of a bonus. It's almost like the trade deadline that week when they both came back. But realistically, they got 2 really good lines, but they've got a lot of youth on those other 2 lines, and they have to figure out the game. And most of the games, you notice those lines, they haven't quite got up to speed yet. They're making poor decisions, turnovers, lots of turnovers. Saturday night against Port Colborne, sorry. The turnovers were just unbelievable. The first period and a half, we just turned the puck over constantly, right? And then we cleaned it up in the second half of the game when we played a lot better against Elmira on Sunday night as well. So it's coming. It's just there's going to be nights where, if the big gunners don't score for you, it's going to be challenging to find some goal scorers.
Yeah, Alec, what have you seen of St. Mary's so far this year?
Well, I haven't seen a ton on that side. Yep. It's been so crazy on this side. Oh. But I mean, you go back to last year. What is St. Mary's? You're always going to get good coaching. They're always going to be very well disciplined. I agree with Rhett. Von Barr is one of those Huron Perth Lakers kids who is a big goaltender. He's going to be excellent for you. I think he's going to have a little bit of kind of rookie struggles here and there. There's going to be a couple games you're like, come on, like we needed that save. But all in all, it's a good rounded team. And anytime you have, a Hodgkinson in that lineup, anytime you have those veteran guys. And again, St. Mary's lost a bunch, but they still have a really good core. Like Chase McQueen-Spence, in my opinion, is one of the best forwards in the league. Like 200-foot game, that guy can play hockey. All in all, you'll be fine. And I go back to my same point. Have fun with Chatham in the playoffs. Have fun with the Dave Williams-led Stratford Warriors in the playoffs, right? Like, those are the teams that when it comes to playoff time, you're like, okay, we know these guys know how to perform. St. Mary's, Chatham, Stratford. Doesn't matter what their record is in the regular season. Doesn't matter where they finish. You kind of know those teams coaching-wise. They're going to be there. They're going to give you fits. They're going to give you problems. So, I don't know. I think that side of the division is a little weaker than it was last year, if I'm being completely honest. And that's not a dig to it at all, because it was absolutely loaded last season. It was a gauntlet, 8-team gauntlet. And on our side, we kind of had 5 teams, and you kind of looked at it and you're like, okay, there's maybe 2 or 3 that can win it. But on your side, you're looking at the 8 seed and you're like, oh my God, like if Elmira rings one off here and they get in, like they could do damage, right?
Yeah.
So I think that sense it's a little bit weaker than it was last year. But I also look at a team that I'm very high on this season in that side of the division, St. Thomas.
Yep.
Brand new coach. I love their head coach. One of the best in the league. I can't believe he got let go.
Yeah.
But you add him, and then they're young guys. I mean, when you have a Muse in your lineup and then 16 or 15 rookies, whatever that number is.
17 rookies.
Yeah, and they're all really good players. A lot of them are going to play OHL games. A lot of them are going to be in this league maybe 1 or 2 years in advance, right? So get good coaching, get young, good players. I think St. Thomas is a team that I look at and I'm like, okay, if they can get in, if they can play well, the biggest thing for them is the veteran leadership, right? They don't really have a ton of it, but they're going to be a young, tough team to play, kind of like Pelham in our side this year. I think that's what they're going to kind of be like.
Pelham's putting up the points.
Yeah, gritty, tough to play against. They're going to steal a game here or there, and you're like, well, we should have won that. Well, no, you didn't, because you got outplayed, right? They're going to outwork you every game, right? So we'll see what happens, but I'm intrigued by that side this year.
Yeah, St. Thomas is a team. They got nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. So they're going to come out run and gun every game. I'm still calling it the Wild Wild West, because I think it's going to be a traffic jam come the end of the year in the Western Conference. Because just take a look at Kamoka. They've improved steadily since last year. Brock Lane came in Friday night in Stratford, and he played outstanding. That's a completely different score if he's not in the net for Kamoka. It was a back and forth game till Stratford, Kamoka gave Stratford fits at the beginning of each period. And the speed of Adams up front and Newstetter back on the back end, Stratford didn't know what to do for a while. And then they just sort of settled in and played their game, right? But the goaltending, like I still say that end of preseason pickup by the London Nationals of Bartolin from Sarnia is huge for them. The game we played down there, Bartolin was the difference. He's going to be the difference maker for that team, and it's shown so far this year, because they released their backup goalie and they have brought in another one. That had something to do with the Knights, but it's the way it is now. But I just think Bartolin in that London lineup, they're going to be a tough squad to beat. They almost look different than the London teams we're used to seeing. There is a little bit more discipline there, but we'll have to see how long that lasts. Just a little bit.
Give it time.
Yeah. Alex, over in the East, there's some interesting things going on. You got Pelham. Like Pelham's right up there in the thick of things right now.
I didn't see it coming. Honestly, I know we're only 3 weeks in, but I mean, they're so gritty. You're not going to outwork them. First on we saw them last weekend, and I talked to a lot of people, and that's probably one of the worst games I've called working for the Meteors. Just like Pelham's a team you go in and you're like, okay, well, we're going to win, right? That has been their kind of story the last 5-10-ish years. It's like, okay, they're a little bit weaker. It's 2 points, get in, get out, stay healthy, right? This year, it's not the same thing. So we go into that game, you score first, great, perfect. And then goals, but they got a ton of young kids. Like And Zach Ronaldo, his first year wasn't great. His second year was really unfortunate that they got bounced in the last game of the season from the playoffs, but they were better, right? So baby steps for them. This year they've taken that next step. And Jack Havers is a guy, London Knights draft pick. He's unreal. 2007 born forward. That kid can shoot a puck. He scored twice against Fort Erie. So, I mean, they're gritty. They're big. They got size on the back end. Goaltending wise, Logan Snyder is probably should be one of the best goalies in the East this season. Brantford Bulldogs pick. He was excellent last year. Kind of got cold at the back end, but he started off really well this season. And then they have Liam Edgecombe as well, who came up from Junior C. So not a bad tandem there. And Pelham probably had one of the better weekends they've had in the Ronaldo era, knocking off Ayr and Fort Erie. When you take 4 points against those two teams, you're doing something right. And Fort Erie was a blowout. Ayr was a close game, right? So they've shown that they can win with scoring, and then they've shown that they can win with tight defensive play and rely on goaltending a little bit more. So, I mean, but between like Havers, Sanita, Tyler Lee is a guy who I love. That pickup was great, I think, from Don Mills. Like, they've got a lot of young, gritty guys who want to go that next level, want to take that next step. So they're gonna be a tough out this year. I could see them getting into the playoffs and making some noise. You never know what happens when you get in, but the East is really not going how I thought it was going to go to start the season.
I'm going to have to come up with a name for the East because, right away last year we dubbed it the Wild Wild West because it was wild from game 1 to game 50. The East was a little different, but, in the East last year, you had those 3 teams tie for the same amount of points, same amount of wins, same amount of losses in the Eastern Conference, and you don't rarely see that. So that's just how close they were at the top end of that division. Then you had that battle down at the bottom end, and Brantford gets in, and then they take Ayr right out of it.
Everybody got the matchup they didn't want last year in the playoffs, which is hilarious. Like, Fort Erie probably didn't want to play Cambridge because I thought Cambridge was a really good matchup. Brantford definitely didn't want to play Ayr, right? So the matchups just didn't – and Port Colborne was so good all year. They couldn't beat Caledonia. That was their kryptonite, right? So every team got the team they didn't want to play. But again, you look at the East this year, and it's like, oh, my God, like – Brantford's going to be a playoff team. Yeah. They're going to get guys back. They're going to be really good. They got new coaching, new GMs, right? Everybody's in a different position there. They're going to be in the playoffs. I think personally, Caledon's even better, right?
They met their quota of 2 wins in September.
Yeah, right. And they've been better, right? So Caledon's not okay. We're going to go beat Caledon, maybe, but they will maybe be close or steal a game here or there, which they've shown this season already. So
when you go to Caledon, you're going to have to bring your parka because it is the coldest rink in the world.
It's a little bit chilly. But the one team that I'm like, oh my God, like I'm scared of is Cambridge this year.
Yes.
Like whatever, like he's done a great job with that team. Eric, bringing in Todd, and then what Todd has done with that young core of guys. First of all, he got them all to stay, which is massive. Owen Yager is probably one of my favorite defensemen in the league. I love the way he plays. I love the way he sees the ice. So right off the rip, you got a really tough back end in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Aiden Hill, one of my favorite young goalies in the league. I thought he should have been in this league last year. I thought he kind of maybe got a little bit of the short end of his stick. Really good so far. I mean, the guy's got a 970. He's 3-0. Yeah. How are you going to argue with that? Right. And then their scores. Cameron Freeze, stud. Reed Gamage, stud. Kyler Morgan, so good. Right. Like all these guys they're going to be a really tough team to beat. And if they get good coaching, which they have so far, look out.
And that's
my surprise team.
Yeah, the younger Delacroce there as well.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
That was a huge pickup. Yeah.
Depth through and through on that team this year.
Yeah. Right. You guys had Port Colborne into town on a rare Saturday night game in St. Mary's.
Yeah, we did.
How was that game? I know you guys lost it in the overtime, but you got the point out of it. Port Colborne's just sitting in 5th right now in the East, so they're not a run over team anymore.
No, we had a really bad start, like usual. Down 2-0 early, then 2-1 after the second, and then we tied it late in the third, and it was good overtime. I believe Port Colborne scored with 40 seconds left in overtime before the shootout. But we had opportunities. It could have went either way, but we still got a point, and yeah.
Yeah, because you guys started your crossover a weekend early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a lot of crossover games already. Go to St. Catharines Thursday and Caledon's here on Friday. So
Yeah,
busy week.
yeah, it is. It is. It's crossover weekend. Chris, what did you think about the Port Colborne?
Yeah, they're going to be a good team. They're fast. They got some size. The goaltending was very solid. I look at where they are sitting right now. They're 4-2, right? They're going to be in that top 4 or 5 third spot probably all year. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Like the way they play. Anticipation. They had a ton of like I said, we turned the puck over a lot, but a lot of that is to their credit, knocking pucks down out of the air and stuff like that, reading plays. So, well-coached team, play the right way, discipline, nothing silly. A fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Love their colors too.
Yeah, as it being a crossover weekend, Stratford, we had Hamilton in Friday night, and then we're going to make that long trip, Alec, and we're going to come see you in Fort Erie on Saturday night. I've had some funny text messages from people. I had somebody text message me Thursday and say, "Why is Stratford playing so bad?" And I'm sitting there going, "We've played 2 games. We're only at 4 games. We are 2-1 and 1-0. Things are turning around. What do you think that matchup between like Stratford Friday night against Hamilton and then us against you Saturday night in Fort Erie?"
Hamilton's the weirdest team in the league. And I say that for one reason is because any given night they have the talent, the scoring to knock off a top team. They'll beat a St. Catharines. They'll beat a Cambridge. They'll beat a Fort Erie. But then on any given night they lose to Welland 7-1 after Welland loses 15-2. Like it's been that since the new regime kind of took over in Hamilton back when they were in the Sutherland Cup. Ever since kind of that season, they've been such a weird, streaky team. Like, okay, they're good, but then they lose games they shouldn't. Then they win a really tight game. So their biggest thing, and I'm going to say this a lot in the East this year, is goaltending. If a team has good goaltending, they're going to be good because not a lot of teams have good. I feel like not a lot of teams have a lot of good goaltending this season. I think it's a rarity. It's a gem to have a really good goalie that you can lean on. Like we're not seeing the Andrew McLeans of the St. Catharines days in net right now. We're not seeing the Charlie Burns the Brandon Abbotts, right? We haven't seen a guy like that this season. So that's going to be a big thing. They struggle defensively. I think Stratford's young core. They're young, really speedy. Like Jack McGurn, I think he's going to have a really good game. He will play to that style. You guys are at home. It's always hard to win in the Almond.
Yeah.
I think and again, the thing is, you stay disciplined. You don't make stupid mistakes. You should have no problem handling a Hamilton Kilty Bees team. But that being said, they could surprise you. Like I said, you never know with them. On the other end, I'm really questioned Fort Erie start this season because you look at the last 2 seasons with us and it's been okay. Sutherland Cup final this year. You still have all the key guys back. Ryland Masterson I'm going to be biased here, but I think he's the best defenseman in the East. I think he's one of the best defensemen in the league. 5-year guy, captain, right? Doesn't turn the puck over, doesn't make stupid mistakes, physical, going to get under your skin, really tough to play against. And you have Sam Tonelli. Anytime you have a Sam Tonelli and a Ryland Masterson, you're not rebuilding. You're going for a championship, right? I mean, this past weekend, Tonelli had 0 points after putting up 12 in his first 4 games. I feel confident in saying there will never be another weekend where Sam Tonelli has 0 points. And so it's really weird that the start isn't what you wanted. You have 2 really close games in Caledonia, both in which you have a lead in, one in which you have a lead in by 2 goals with 4 minutes left. You expect to win that game, especially with the way Fort Erie has their defensive core built. 4 of those 6 guys are all returning guys. They've all been there for 3 years. Fort Erie doesn't lose games like that, but they did, right? Joey Wasslin ties the game with 5 seconds left. And then we lose in overtime. You had 2 great chances, couldn't bury it. 0-2 against Caledonia stings this season to start. Our wins are against Caledon. It's hard to judge wins against Caledon. They're better, but whatever. And then the loss to Pelham was really like, oh my God, like, what was that? What was that performance, right? You got a core veteran guys. Ryan Schultz gets pulled in the second period. Silver lining in that game was Finn Moffett was really good coming in. But I think if you ask anybody in Fort Erie, the goaltending's got to be better. They got to get some more saves, and those leaders have to kind of take the new guys under their wing. They've had slow starts from Easton Poirier, who came in and was supposed to be really good, really young, electric player. So good in the playoffs for St. Catharines last year. Trent Valancourt, veteran guy in this league, really big physical defenseman. They added a lot of pieces to the puzzle. Tate Donald's been really good this year, young forward. Up with Tonelli, the Danny Adamo, 6-7 goals on the season. It's all there. You got to put it together. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued every time Stratford and Fort Erie play each other. You get Dave and Nick Passero, who both know each other really well. They've coached together in the showcase games. So you know for sure you're getting a really, really, really good coach game. Teams are very similar.
Yep.
In the way that Stratford builds off veteran guys that come back, and then they build young talent around those guys who come back, and they have a brand, right? You play Stratford Warrior hockey. Well, you play Fort Erie Meteors hockey, right?
Yeah.
The Mets way is really strong defensive play. Sam Tonelli scores 3 points, right? Like
yeah.
Stratford Warriors, again, really electric young forwards that can put the puck in the back of the net, really subtle in their back end, right? You got Frayne back there and those guys. So I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's a really good matchup. It's a coin toss for me.
Yeah,
I'm going to say whoever gets the better goaltending. I don't know.
I look at it and I think it's two teams that are similar to each other. I just think here in Stratford they're just finding their skates. Everybody says, oh, they slow start. Yeah, but it was that 2 weeks off, I think, between the last preseason game and the start of the regular season game due to the OHL game here in town. They just didn't get their skates the first weekend, I don't think. A little sloppy play. They sort of shored things up a little bit in the last 2 games, but when you go into Sarnia, it's tough to gauge your team against a team like Sarnia because it's sloppy hockey all around. There's something wrong in Sarnia, and it needs to be fixed. It's like their goaltender kept them in that game with Stratford, the new one they picked up. He's going to help them down the road, but they still need some help somewhere else there in Sarnia. And it was a tough game to call. It's a tough game, but I don't know. I don't know what the answer is in Sarnia. I hope to get a Sarnia fan on here eventually to see what's wrong maybe in Sarnia. But we'll have to see. Chris with a little bit of a laugh on that one.
Hey, Alec, just a question.
Yeah.
Moffat, was he your number one last year?
No, so John Lloyd was back last year.
That's right. Okay, Lloyd. I couldn't
so
remember
it's
who
been,
it was.
Yeah, it's been a weird transition of goalies in Fort Erie, right? Like you go from Charlie Burns, who is the best goalie in Meteor history, and then you go to John Lloyd, who was really sturdy, but again, he's playing college hockey out in the States now, so he was really good. And now you get Finn Moffat, right? So I love Finn. Finn's a great kid. Plays the game right. But it's going to be an adjustment, right? He was our rookie of the year last year. Is really good. It's really a different animal when you start. Like, okay, I'm going to get the bulk starts this season. It's my job to will this team to wins, play the big games, right? So you play 15 games last year, and he didn't play. Like he started more games for the Ice Dogs than he did for the Mets in the last 3 months of the season, right? When that whole scandal started.
Yeah.
So. I think he has a really good shot to be good. He's going to need some time, I think, to kind of get into that role. That's what we saw last year from him too. He kind of got in a little bit of a role, and he was probably one of the best backups in the league last year. So you look at a guy like Finn Moffat, you feel comfortable with him, and you feel steady with him. Would you have liked a couple of extra saves in the first couple of weeks? Probably. But he's a young kid. He's a 2007, right? So, like I said, you're going to see those bumps in the road back and forth. But, yeah, and then Ryan Schultz is a Fort Erie Academy kid. So, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out this year.
Well, they're both big kids too, right?
Yeah.
Finn's 6'3", Schultz 6'2". So, yeah, that always helps.
It takes some time, right? Especially going from Fort Erie Elite Academy hockey to Junior B. Like, that's not just like a small jump. That's a pretty big gap in my opinion. So it'll take some time. Now, like he got a shutout in his first start, did Schultz, right?
Yeah.
It's against Caledon, so you
Yeah.
take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. But he still made some saves that were like, okay, like it's not like you were just standing in net the whole game. You made some good saves, but those aren't the games you're worried about, right? You're worried about the games like Saturday night against Pelham, where it's like, okay, like 4 on 16 shots isn't ideal. Not saying that we played great in front of them because we didn't. Needed to be better. Can't blame the goaltender on that, but you need more, right? You need sometimes you need your goaltender to bail out your team, and that's when you know you have a really good goaltender.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm pretty sure you guys will see Finn on Saturday. I'm actually positive you'll see Finn on Saturday.
Yeah. I'm thinking Davis will be in the net for Stratford on Saturday, and Hurst will probably start Friday night against Hamilton. I noticed Friday night, Davis, he's not fighting the puck as much as he was in his first 2 starts. I think it's settling in that he's not used to being on a team that, he doesn't get the 15 shots in the first period against him. He's used to playing on teams where he was peppered for, he averaged 18 shots in the first period playing for Sarnia and Kamoka. So that's a lot of work in the first period. Now he's getting, 17 shots over 3 periods, right? So I just, we'll have to see how he comes back, but I don't think he's fighting the puck as much as he was. Gage Hurst looked good in Sarnia, but again, it's Sarnia. It's kind of hard to gauge what you have when you play a team like Sarnia.
Unless he played
like they're there. Go ahead, Chris.
Les, he played fantastic at the tournament.
Yeah.
Davis did.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So might just hit a little hiccup. Life as a goaltender, right?
Oh, it is. They're a different breed, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I have one question for you guys out west, quick.
Yep.
Listowel.
Yeah. I'm not sure. They're going to be there come the end of the year, but I'm not sure what's going on up there right now.
Retster, you want to take that one?
Yeah, maybe. I'm curious.
I haven't watched much of Listowel, but I know that they're not very good right now. They're 1-5. They've lost too many games to start. They don't have great goaltending. They got Ethan Koach and Jack Bree, which is okay. They're really young. They have a couple veterans, but not many. So yeah, I don't really know much on Listowel.
Yeah, and I was thinking Koach was going to be the stud for that team this year.
So did I.
I think he still will.
Yeah.
I think give it time. I think, honestly, anybody that knows Jesse Cole knows that he's going to get that team back where they need to be. Like Rhett said, they're young too. They got some guys that have to figure out this junior B style of hockey, right?
Yeah.
But that kind of coaching staff they have on that bench, they might not be top 5 or 4 or 5, maybe till Christmas. But second half of the year, those guys get some games on their belts. They're going to be in the mix. They always are.
I know they got kind of stung by the junior C blip in the off season.
A little bit.
Mount Forest just kind of stole their heart and their identity, right? Like Tegan Middleton's probably a guy who wears your C this year, and he goes and plays junior C, and then of course the Eurig. Like it sucks, but it's just tough. It's been a tough start for them.
It's the hockey landscape now.
Yeah.
Right, you're seeing that a lot of you noticed a lot of the older players jumped to the junior C loop this year.
Yeah. There is an appeal for some of those guys, right? In that loop, if you're going to school, they don't have to come to practice during the week. Just show up on the games for the weekend. It's kind of a nice schedule that way. If they got to do a bit of traveling. It's
such a weird league to me with the number of teams that are in that league, and the fact that you could play the same amount of games in the playoffs as you do in the regular season. If all your games were 7 games in the playoffs, but it's just kind of weird for me. What are you guys' thoughts on this crossover? They've been doing it for quite a few years now in the some things make sense and other things don't. The Welland Canadians going to LaSalle on a Wednesday night. It's a long bus ride.
Yeah. You know what? I love the crossover. I think it's great, but there has to be some common sense come into play at some point. Have the rivalry games that are crossovers, right? Like have teams that know each other a little bit, have a bit of history in the playoffs from the past few seasons. Geography wise makes sense, but yeah, you can't have LaSalle and Welland and teams driving over 3 hours to play games that are basically, realistically, Welland driving to LaSalle. What's your prediction on a score there? I don't know.
A lot to a little.
Yeah, like it's just, Again, the crossover is great. I loved watching teams come into St. Mary's that I've never seen, like when the Fort Erie showed up a couple years ago, and we got to see Port Colborne for the first time this past week, and we've had Caledonia down here. Those are the games that you love to see, right? But some of them, they just have to do a better job of making sense of the games, like travel wise, and I just wish they would. And I get it; it's almost impossible to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
And who's Howland going to play in a crossover game that's a rival? I don't know, but
yeah,
you know what? Just make it a short drive. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, so you get the extra crossover game this year because there's no showcase tournament. I was not a big fan of the showcase tournament anyways.
No.
I just thought it was a lot of travel for some teams for 2 games that, really didn't help you out at all, but that's here nor there.
Well, money's important. Money's important to these teams, right?
It is.
The attendance and
we
you
lost
can't
the game
afford.
last year with Air in the showcase and London.
There you go. Those
That
are
makes
games
no
we have
sense
1,000
that we had to
people.
drive to Caledonia to play London
Yeah.
and Air.
There we go.
So thank God it's gone.
I was gonna say you gotta flip some. It's just about the road games. Fort Erie's we got to go to Sarnia at the end of November for a 7:05 game.
Yeah,
on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Last year, Sarnia came to Fort Erie and we played a Saturday afternoon game at 2:00. Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Okay, I get it's your home night, whatever. But on those cross games, okay, Sarnia, guess what? We're not going to have Fort Erie drive 4 hours on a bus at the start of winter. You never know what the weather's going to look like. To play on a Thursday night, like a lot of these kids have to go to school in the morning, right? Like a lot of these kids just aren't. They're all going to school. Most of them are. So that's one for me too. I agree. It's like, okay, we'll put it on a Saturday, put it on a Sunday afternoon, a Saturday afternoon, right? We play Waterloo, perfect, 2.5 hour drive or whatever. That's perfect. We play at 1:00 in the afternoon. Mint. Get home at a decent time. If you're going to Sarnia, 7:05, 7:10 at the end of November. I'm not going to say it's whatever, but it's like we know the situation in Sarnia.
Yeah.
So you go down there, whatever happens, and then you get home at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. Right? Like it's a little bit much on a Thursday night, especially for kids that you got going to school and stuff like that. So I love the crossover too. I'm a big fan, but like make it make sense.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to have those Sarnia games and Fort Erie games, put them in the first week. And put it on a Saturday, right, or a Sunday afternoon, and don't make those drives during the winter months.
Yeah,
it's just make it make sense in my opinion.
Yeah, because our 2 trips this year we're in to you guys Saturday night, which is great. It's a Saturday night. Nobody's, not a lot of people have anything to do on the Sunday morning. So by the time we get home, get to bed, it is what it is. Nobody's got to get up for school. Nobody's got classes in the morning. So I think the way that falls, it's good. We go to Welland too, but I think that's a weekend game as well. So, it's not. It's the Wednesday night games that we go to LaSalle. Other teams that go further to LaSalle. I know it's their home night, but it's just it's just difficult to see it. Like Fort Erie, if you guys went to LaSalle, you would be on the bus for how long? About 4.5 hours.
Fort Erie and Sarnia is the furthest traveling any team will ever do, and
so Fort Erie and LaSalle is closer.
I don't know if LaSalle or they're how far are they apart? They're not that far apart. Like LaSalle and Sarnia,
they're an hour.
They're an hour. Okay, yeah, maybe LaSalle's a bit further, but so second longest distance. But you got Peak.
Yeah,
that's a lot of highway to drive on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
right. So I don't know. We don't play LaSalle this year, so that's all right. But we did get the Sarnia draw. So
all right, Rhett, what do you got up this week for your St. Mary's Lincolns?
Well, Thursday night we're going to St. Catharines. Probably not the best Thursday night game, but that'll be a tough one. Looks like St. Catharines 5-1. They look good, so that's gonna be a tough one. And then Friday night we got Caledon, which will be as advertised.
It should be.
Well, you hope. You just never know.
Well, I won't be there. So.
Yeah.
We'll
So Rhett, we were talking during the week. Rhett was texting me back and forth, and he wanted to talk about some arenas that he went to. I know he's not happy with some of the air horn policies these arenas have.
But let me show you something.
Oh boy.
You see this? Right
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
I've gotten in trouble before. And I have a bone to pick with most of the arenas everywhere. Well,
Be
I'm gonna start
careful.
naming them.
No, it's okay. We don't need to name them.
Okay, I won't name, but they know who they are.
Yeah. So Rhett, in your travels so far, what's been your favorite arena?
Oh, Elmira by far. There's no
You like
crazy
the
fans.
demonstrator?
It's laid back. It's just a great place to watch. Their arena's amazing, clean. I just love it there.
Yeah, it is a nice arena. It was well put together. I like I remember back when it first opened, and Elmira had a goaltender by the name of Jonathan Reinhardt. And he could kick the net off with the best of them.
Oh,
And we'd go down there in a playoff game. We'd stand there right over top of them because you could stand on the track there right up above him.
Oh yeah.
And just give it to him, but he loved it. Everybody, I know the pegs are still a big issue with a lot of people. Some of these arenas are still using those contact gravel pegs that don't. We had a few problems in Sarnia coming off. Big gaugers, the big boy just pushing off the net, right? But a guy like Jonathan Reinhardt, he used to be able to kick them off in Stratford. And
That's
he
not
could do
easy
it with
to
the best of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got it fixed in St. Mary's, so that's
Yeah,
We got to fix in Fort Erie too.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most teams have, but there's a few I've heard that still haven't. So
yeah, London was still using the spikes, and I don't know why they just can't have it. People say, well, different communities,
yeah, it should be
I
one
want to
rule.
drill them to their floor, but I thought most floors would come with those anyways. But what else are you looking forward to this winter from your team there, Chris, in St. Mary's?
Oh, yeah, I think it's like I said, it's going to be a year of building and getting better as we go. The big guys are going to have years. Lincoln Moore, Vortman, McQueen, Spence, they're going to do their thing. It's just going to be trying to find that secondary help, right? Again, getting Ryan and Hodgson back and Weir is huge, but they still have to find a way. Like, we know they're going to play the game the right way. Ryan's great on both ends of the ice, face-offs, defensively, but so far offensively, he's been having a hard time finding it. And his whole line, right? Weir and Elzinga, looks great. They have all that experience, but they got to start putting the puck in the net, and they will. It's just, you just got to be patient. But yeah, after those two lines, that's what the biggest thing I think looking forward to is where are we going to find those diamonds in the rough that are going to, be the future of this team in 2-3 years from now too, right? So I'm looking forward to it, though. I think it's going to be a good year. I think the team will put itself in a good spot to compete. And as always, there's just so many good teams in the league. It's never a dull moment.
Alex, over in the East, Fort Erie, right in the thick of things coming up, you think?
I expect this to be finished top 3. I think anything else below that's a disappointment for the roster we have and the expectation. That would be, I think you look at the Cambridges and the St. Catharines and the Fort Erie as your top 3 in this side. You're going to have teams like Port Colborne and it kind of in the mix for that seed as well. But I think I'm a big believer in veteran guys who have been there before, like St. Mary's. You guys know this too, like veteran guys who know how to do it. They know how to win. They know how to kind of not overreact. I think that's a big part. And we have a lot of that in Fort Erie, right? So I think anything below third place is a disappointment this season. I hope that's what it is. I think there's moves that are going to be made in the upcoming weeks if the struggles continue, because the organization knows, like, we're in it to win it. That's what we're here for. Get that bad taste out of your mouth from St. Catharines last season. You guys will have fun with St. Catharines. That's probably my game of the week, is St. Catharines and St. Mary's. It's going to be a battle. Jordan Schonbacher is the best defenseman in the league. He is so good. He's going to play 20 minutes a night. You guys will have your hands full with him. And they're so deep. St. Catharines. They got guys. Calvin Petrovsky is such a pain to play against, and he's such a good two-way player. And then they got guys, veteran guys, really good young players. Ali Mustafa's got such a good shot. He's so tough to handle in the offensive zone. So that'll be a fun matchup. I hope you guys are able to beat them. I really do, and help us out. But yeah, I think Fort Erie's got to finish top 3. That's the mindset, and even the mindset is we want to finish first. Like that's the goal. We expect to be back in the final. It's crazy to say 3 weeks in, but we'll see. This weekend will be a big test, in my opinion, because you get Stratford Saturday, and then you got a quick turnaround to Waterloo at 1:00 on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a big turnaround for you guys.
And you get out of there. Yeah, 1:00, right? So you get out of there at 10:00 on Saturday, or set 9. Let's say 9:30. You get home by 10:30.
Yeah.
Bus leaves in the mornings. I don't know, 7, 8 a.m. Like it's early. So and Waterloo's not a team either. Like this is a tough cross weekend for us because Waterloo's not a team that's like gonna roll over and die. Like they just got Matt Murda back, really tough physical guy, really good guy. Put the puck in the net, right? Very good junior B player. That young kid they have, Jackson Halloran's had a really good start. Oh. So they've got guys down there too. It's going to be a very big weekend, and I think the guys know that. I think the coaching staff knows that. And I think the expectation is you at least get 2-3 points this weekend. You have to, right? Especially after the showing last weekend.
Yeah, and Waterloo's a team I'm still not sure what to make of, but they came into Stratford a couple Friday nights ago and took us to overtime, pretty quick, 10 seconds into overtime. Bodzai I didn't know that was his first GOHL goal. I didn't know that, but it was 10 seconds in overtime. They're a good team and they move the puck well. Rhett, what do you think the big matchup you're looking forward to this year in the Western Conference?
I think any games where we play Chatham, London, Stratford, I think definitely Chatham is a rivalry again. I'm looking forward when we play Stratford, Listowel.
The Stratford series, it's ever since last year when they finally put us in the right conference with each other. It's a playoff game no matter what time of year it's going to be. I know we don't face each other till December. I think this year is our first.
Yeah, I think it's on a Thursday night or something.
Yeah, and then there's a Saturday night. It's it's weird, and the one showcase game is us, and then we have Listowel and that and all that. In Stratford, I think we're just finding our feet now, and we're getting ready to go. Luke Menard, bringing him in, he is a kid that he's a good playmaker, and he can shoot the puck. He's got a sneaky little wrist shot that he gets through. Jonas Schmidt's still leading this team with 6 points. He's still finding the net. But like you said, there was a lineup, a goal the other night. Reese Brown, he's been playing big minutes for Stratford this year. One of the 4-year guys. He made a pass over Jack McGurn that, McGurn falling, put it in the net. And, I've been calling him September Jack because he shows up in September. And then, so I told him Friday night, I said, now you got to start scoring in October and we'll change your name to October Jack. We'll just keep going with it. I just want to quickly give the 3 stars of the week for the Stratford Warriors. We got Luke Menard there with 4 goals over 2 games. Reese Brown had 4 assists over those 2 games. And Quinn Kiffer, great. We were so lucky to get Kiffer back. He just shows up every night. Him and Slattery on the same line. Sort of in that Waterloo game, Stratford came out in the 3rd period, and it looks like the coaching staff threw the lines into a blender. And whatever came out is what they have. And we have a line right now with it's been Grady Murphy, Dominic Marshall, and Cohen Galbraith playing together, and they've just been hemming teams in their own end. They've just been playing fabulous hockey together. And when you see a kid like Grady Murphy out on the ice and he's got a smile on his face, you're playing Grady Murphy hockey. Because
is that your shutdown line?
Huh?
Is that the shutdown line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in your notes.
They're gonna have their hands full this weekend. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, I think Saturday night's game is going to be a very good early season matchup, for both teams.
It's not going to be a lot of goals.
No,
Was not
Hey,
gonna get a lot of
Les.
goals.
What can you tell me about this Menard kid? Shreveport, Louisiana.
Shreveport, Louisiana. So he's an American Canadian born. His dad played for the Owen Sound Grays
Okay.
back in Junior B and the Orangeville Crushers
Oh, nice.
at one time. So him and Dave Williams actually played summer hockey together at one time. So Menard also played in that AAA U16 Dallas Stars organization.
Oh, wow.
He had 93 points one year. Two of his line mates were drafted this past NHL draft into the NHL. So
Wow.
somebody asked him, what happened the next year? And he said, well, they moved on. Those kids. He's a Jays fan. So he said when they were living in Texas, they'd always go see the Jays when they came. So
Right on. Right
we've been
on.
teasing him a little bit because it's an Olympic year this year, and we got 2 Americans on the team this year. Joe Curtin took a lot of flack last year in the Four Nations. So he said he's got some help, and I said, well, I got it under good advisement. Menard might be cheering for Canada. And, he said, I don't believe that, but we'll have to see. Like I said, Alex, Saturday night's game I think will be a very interesting, exciting hockey game.
I hope it gets back to the regular Fort Erie team that I used to see.
Yeah.
Like I've worked in that organization. This is my 5th season, and you go into Fort Erie. It's a hard rink to play on, big ice surface, of course. You guys have the guys to skate though, so you'll be all right. But I think it's got to be a coming out party for this defensive core. When you have 4 of your 5 overagers on your back end. Cameron Thorpe's been here for this is his 4th season. Masterson's 5th season. Owen Cressman it's his 5th season, but 3rd season in Fort Erie. Trent Valancourt, and then whether it's O'Farrell or Mazzotti, who is the first round U18 pick of the Erie Otters, whatever young kids mixed in with that, they've got to play really good in front of the goaltender. And if the defense doesn't, you guys will throw fits, and I don't know, the power play's got to get going too. We were 0 for 6.
Stratford's a team that doesn't spend a lot of time in the box. Any Dave Williams coach team,
yeah,
that's one place you don't go a lot. Because if you do, you know where you're going to sit.
Right in front of them.
Yeah,
in the middle of the bench.
Yeah, Reese, Matt, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I want to know what you think the top 4 teams in the Western Conference will be at the Christmas break.
Oh, 1 Chatham, 2 London, and a two-way tie with us and Elmira for the last 2 spots.
Not bad. I like that. Elmira's
And
there.
I'll give you my bottom. 5, I'll go LaSalle. 6, I'll go Kamoka. 7, I'll go Strathroy. Actually, I'll go 7 Stratford, 8 Strathroy.
Wow,
that's a.
I think Stratford's gonna have a little slow start.
You threw right to the bottom there.
Bulletin board material at the Almond.
That's right. Put it up on the whiteboard. Rhett Chessel said this.
And no St. Thomas in there either. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I keep saying it's gonna be a fight in the Western Conference. I think right through, 1st to 11. I think 12 might be decided pretty quickly. But right through to 11. Alex, over in the East, your top 4 teams.
Well, Cambridge is pretty hard to pick against right now until they lose a hockey game and they show that they're incapable of playing hockey. It's right. Cambridge will be 1, I think. And they have a really weak schedule to start. I think they're going to go 13-14-0 to start the season. I really do. Go look at Cambridge's next 8 games, and you'll kind of be like, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Back end of the season will be tough for them, but Christmas break, they'll be first. St. Catharines, I think, is second. Just their veteran leadership there. They're not going to lose a ton of games either. I'll slide them on my second spot. I think Air drops out. I'm not high on the Air Centennials this year. I think they lost too many guys. I think they'll bottom out at some point. I think Fort Erie's got to be in that 3 spot. They have the talent, the veteran guys. the leadership. I think they're in the 3. 4 is really a toss-up for me. I could put Port Colborne there. I could put Caledonia there. A lot of people overlook Caledonia because their last 2 seasons, but a lot of people forget what Caledonia is capable of and what they have done in this league, right? So I'm gonna go with the better goaltending because I'm very strong on goaltending wins games, and you have to have a really good goaltender to do that. So I think I'm gonna put Port Colborne 4, and then I got Caledonia and Air right behind those 2. So
All right.
I think that's mine. I think Pelham will be in that conversation too, but I just think they're too young. I just think they need a couple more veteran guys in that locker room. Caleb McLeish is a great kid, great leader, but they need a little bit more to kind of show them the way. So, but they'll be in that 5-7 mix as well. But that's my top 4, I think.
All right. Chris, what do you think in the West?
Well, yeah, it's Chatham and London right at the top. That's not gonna. I think they'll just bounce back and forth all year. And then after that, yeah, it's just such a, I think Elmira is going to be really good. I really like Elmira. They got great goaltending, tons of power forwards.
Yeah,
up
Gerber
front that
going
can
there
hit the
to
puck.
Elmira.
Gerber's huge, getting him back. So I think Elmira is going to be there. So I would say Chatham, London, Elmira, St. Mary's, and then Stratford, St. Mary's 4-5 is probably going to. I could see Stratford going up to the 3 spot too. I do like your roster. I think you guys have a lot of returning players, a lot of depth. I'm
intrigued about the Stratford St. Mary's 4-5 because if we get a Stratford St. Mary's 4-5, that means it's a round 1
please
playoff series.
Cinema.
Game 7, St. Mary's Friday night, sold out.
They have to meet in the playoffs eventually.
They will.
I think anybody who watches Junior B hockey would love to see Stratford and St. Mary's meet somewhere down the road in a playoff series.
Yeah.
Round 1, you'd rather it in maybe the Western Conference Final, but I will take a Stratford St. Mary's series at any point.
Yeah.
We've been close a couple times in the last couple of years, just never worked out. I'm not going to give a prediction of what I think is going to happen in the East just because of the broadcasting I do for the Warriors. But I think you're right, Chris and Rhett. Your top 2 teams in the Western Conference are probably they're going to be dogfighting all year. What do you think this year the trade deadline is going to be more important than it has been in recent years? Like last year, I think we started to see hockey moves instead of just dumping players.
Yeah.
Alec.
Yeah.
The trade deadline this year?
Yeah.
It's going to be, because of this new OHL deal, it's going to be very interesting. I'm worried about teams who have centered their teams around guys who play in the OHL. And I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. Air Centennials, excellent example last year. That team is a final. That's a Southern Cup team, no question. You lose 6 guys, you lose 4 of your top 6. It's just you can't come back from that, right? So Guelph was bad. Well, Guelph Storm were bad. Those guys got opportunities. D1 thing went through. Jordan Chiron should have never been in this league. He's way too talented. And that's not a dig on this league. It's just a promotion to Jordy Chiron because it's such a good player. But you see all those guys immediately move on, right?
Yep.
They're all gone. So the league is better when Elmira's good. I have such a hard time believing Brendan Gerber's not an OHL player at some point this season for full time. I think there's a lot of teams he would play on right now. I think there's a lot of teams he'd be in a top 9 position on right now, middle 6 spot. London's not going to be there for him. So I'm interested to see that development. But I think the trade deadline is big on that because I think teams also are going to benefit from it. I think you're going to see a lot of younger guys, whichever teams build for it, whichever teams kind of rebuild, you're going to see guys go up to those teams that are rebuilding from our league to the OHL. That's going to hurt some teams. I think you're going to see guys get dealt for players win now move OHL wise. So I don't know. Do you see a Brendan Gerber get shipped to a Guelph Storm maybe right? I think it's a perfect scenario. I think there's a guy that London will end up with on their team at the deadline from Guelph. I think there's no question about it. So, and then Brendan Gerber is in that lineup in Guelph. Like, he's not playing in Elmira anymore. Like, he's up there. I find that intriguing. So I think the deadline's going to be really good for some teams, and that's why I'm kind of high on the Brantford Titans this year. I think they're going to get guys down from the OHL squad, and they've already started to get those guys. Like that big defenseman's there now. That 7-foot guy is in Brantford now, and Korovic is going to be in Brantford as well, and that he's going to be the best goalie in the league. It's not close. But yeah, that's my take on it. I think it's going to be. You're going to see a lot less like veteran guys like, oh, we'll take this overage or we'll take this overage. It's going to be more like, I want to wait and see which overagers get dumped from the OHL. I want to wait and see which overagers or which guys get sent back from out west or out east, right? There's going to be a lot available. There's going to be a goalie in Niagara available in the Niagara region at some point. From the Ice Dogs can't keep rolling with 4 goalies, right? So who knows what happens, but I think it's a lot. It's going to be a lot different. And I think some teams are going to hurt. I think some teams are really going to benefit. Those teams that benefit will make a deep run.
All right. And Chris, your thoughts this year?
Yeah, similar to Alec for sure. I think it's going to be. Last year got really exciting. There was some huge monster moves, and I think you'll continue to see that kind of stuff happening, which is it's cinema for us, and we love it. And if it's your team that's an improving, it's a lot more fun to watch. Like we had a hoot last year at the trade deadline in St. Mary's. So, but I think, like Alex said, it just the whole OHL thing just throws a curveball into everything, and the decision making has to be. There's going to be a lot of games played, and it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Rhett, what arena do you want to make it to this year?
I'm not gonna say LaSalle because they're on Wednesday nights. I don't know. I don't really know many of the East arenas, but I may go down to Hamilton on a Thursday.
Up on the mountain.
See.
The Dave Anderchuk. It's an older arena.
I don't know. I don't know much arenas down there. I've been to Fort Erie before. I like that arena. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Go to St. Catharines.
No, I'm not going up north though.
No, not that up north. Then go to Cambridge. Cambridge is the best rink in the league.
No,
there you go.
No, I'm not going.
Yeah, I have a thing for Cambridge. It's an old rink, but it's got the old facade. And there's some Easter eggs. Red, if you ever get a chance, go to Cambridge.
I mean, we play at Cambridge at home this year, but we don't play them on the road.
Yeah, and go look at the big Coca-Cola portrait down at the far end, and I'll give you some Easter eggs. There's 4 Stratford people in that poster down at the far end. So you'd be able. A lot of people will pick them out, and it's kind of interesting.
They should be in our conference.
You couldn't have everybody from the Midwest join the.
You don't want them.
No.
You don't want them this year in your conference, pal.
No,
that's
I know.
true.
You don't. If that was the case, you'd have Stratford not in the playoffs, which is this is crazy.
Yeah.
Redster, you've been to Cambridge a couple times.
Well, I don't
back when
remember
your
that.
brothers were playing, you used to go there. You just don't remember it, probably. I think there was an incident with some referees there one night, but anyways, we won't get into that.
All right, folks, I just want to remind you, Stratford Warriors Report T-shirts available at the souvenir booth in Stratford, or get a hold of me. All the proceeds from the sale of these T-shirts are going to go to a mental health charity at the end of the season. We're going to try and raise some money and get some awareness out there. Just so you know, they come in green, color for mental health awareness. Guys, I want to thank you for this. It's been a great, just over an hour chatting. We finally get to know a little more about the East, Alec. Thanks for that. And I can't wait to see you Saturday night in person. It's been a while. It should be a great game.
We'll see. Anytime you guys want me to hop on and give you my insights on the Eastern Conference, you can tell those people now you got a guy. So there you go.
All right. Thank you, sir. Rhett, thanks for doing this again. It's always great talking to you. It's great having young kids like you interested in the GOHL.
Mm-hmm.
Put that J in there again, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, me too.
Keep doing what you're doing in St. Mary's, volunteering, doing the horn, doing whatever you
Yeah.
can do for that
I know
organization.
you love that horn, Wes,
He hears it too much.
Yeah,
especially during playoffs.
that's right. Chris, always great to have you. We've known each other a long time. This is a great league, and we get to see a lot of great players come through both cities and around the league. So, guys, thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll talk to you later. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Les.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.